Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin to integrate Firebase email and password authentication in Godot game engine. So let's get started. Firstly, I have created one cheat sheet. I will be following that cheat sheet. The first thing which you have to do is I have created an empty Godot folder. You can name it whatever you feel like. It's up to you. I have created one empty folder because there will be our Godot project, our iOS library, then our iOS project will be exported from Godot as well. So there will be lot of files. That's why I have created one separate folder. So as usual, you would require a macOS for this, and you would require Xcode installed. So I already have both of those. So once you have Xcode installed, all you have to do is just do file, new, then go to package, and here inside package just select multi-platform. Here you can select library, click next, and you can give your library whatever name you feel like. I will just give it as my library just for simplicity's sake, but do remember this name because we will be using this name in lot other places as well. Now I will just go to my empty Godot folder and create that library over there. Once that is done, we will have to go to this particular URL because we need to add the Swift Godot dependency inside our project. So I will just open this. Now this also tells us how to add all the necessary step, but I have just created one cheat sheet so that I don't get confused. So firstly we'll have to add this dependency package URL. So let's see where we need to add this. So here you can see we need to add this after our products array. So I will just go to our library again and I'll just paste it over here. Now as soon as I do command S, here you can see it has automatically downloading all the required dependencies for us, so we don't have to worry too much about it. I think it is using Swift package manager behind the scenes. Once that is done, we need to add this platform iOS version 17. So again we have to add this after this particular name, so I can just paste it over here. Now I have kept the minimum iOS version 17 because I have tried with iOS 15, but this was not compiling for me. I think Swift Godot requires at least iOS 17. That's why I'm keeping the minimum as iOS 17. Okay, so next is adding the type of dynamic as well. So here you can see I have to add this type dynamic over here after library name. So I'll just paste it over here. Once that is done, we have to add this dependencies thing again. So again I'll just copy this, I'll just scroll down, and here you can see inside target I need to add this dependency as well as Swift settings. So I'll just scroll down, I will add one comma over here and I'll paste this particular stuff. Paste this stuff, and I will just do proper indentation, so something like this, and I will just click on save again, command S. Now at least at the time of me recording this video, Swift Godot does not support Swift version 6, so we have to fall back to Swift 5.10. but at that time, if you are watching this video, just check whether Swift Godot supports Swift 6.0 or not. If yes, then you don't have to change this, but I will just change this to 5.10. Otherwise you will get compile time issues if it still doesn't support. Okay, so this is done. Then what I will do is I will just open this Godot folder which we have, this entire Godot folder inside VS Code, because there are few things which are much easier to do via VS Code according to me, rather than via Xcode or Godot game engine, which I will tell you later on. For now, inside our library folder which we have, we need to create this particular file called build.sh. okay, so I will just if you want you can create it from Xcode as well, no big deal. I just find it easier and my brain works in that way. Now for this build particular thing, we can just go to this particular URL over here, open this, and here you can see that we just have to copy all this entire stuff. So I'll just copy all this stuff, and I will go to VS Code and I will just paste it over here. Okay, now few changes which we have to make. The first change which we have to make is this should be our library name. So here it should be my library. Okay, And the second thing, which also again this should be your own library name, all right. And the second thing which we have to do is I also needed to add this skip macro validation. I don't know why, but if I don't add this, I face compile time issues. So this guy Stephen told me to add this, so yeah, grateful to him. So yeah, I have just added this. Once this is added, now we will have to write the actual code for this. So for that, we just have to first go to firebase.google.com. So here you can see I am inside firebase.google.com, and firstly we will have to create a new project, right? So we will have to go to console, and here I will just create a new project. I will name it as my app. You can name it whatever you feel like. I'll just click on continue. I will disable this. I'll click on create project. Let's just wait for this to finish. Okay, so this is finished. Then I'll just click on continue. Okay, then here you will have to click on iOS. Here you will have to give your Apple bundle identifier. Now to get the Apple bundle identifier, we'll have to create our Godot project first. So I will just open Godot game engine. At the time of me recording this video, I'm using Godot 4.3.0, but yeah, you can use a higher version as well. I don't think there will be any major breaking changes as such. I'll click on create. I will navigate to the empty Godot folder which I have created. So this was the folder. I'll select the current folder and I'll name my app as my Godot project. Name it whatever you feel like, and I'll click on create and edit. Then I will just go to project, export, click on add iOS. Here you can click on fix import, and just here you have to enter your app store team ID as well, right? I will enter it later on, but make sure you enter it now only. If you are confused how to get the app store team ID, you can go to this particular URL and it will guide you on how to get the app store team ID. Okay, once that is done, we have to give some bundle identifier. So I will just give it as again it should be your company name your app name, but yeah, this is just a practice project, so I'll just give something weird and I'll just copy this. So this is our bundle identifier. Make sure you enter your app store team ID. This is necessary because we need to export our project later on, and then if you don't enter it, your export project will not work. So again, I'll just close this for now. I will go back to our Firebase. I'll just enter this. If you are deploying your app to Apple App Store, make sure you enter this App Store team ID, but currently it is optional. We don't have to worry about it. I'll just click on register. Once this is done, we have to download this particular file. Now this file we will use later on. Currently it is not of much use to us, but yeah, it is useful. But once we export iOS project from Godot game engine, then it will be more useful. So currently ignore that, it is just downloaded inside my downloads folder. I'll click on next. Now we need to add this Firebase dependencies, Firebase iOS dependency inside our project. So for that, what we can do, again go back to our package, and here you can just add comma, and I will just copy this entire thing, and here instead of this particular URL, I will just need to add this particular URL. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here, and I'll just do command S, and again it will download all the dependencies for us. So here you can see it is downloading. Let it download. Now there is one more thing here. Also we will have to add this dependency section, but we can't directly write Firebase or Firebase auth, whatever you are using. We have to follow particular structure. Now for that particular structure, I will just open my sample project. Don't get confused, this is just a practice project which I created before creating this particular video. So I will just open this inside VS Code and I'll just copy something. So this is the thing. I'll copy this and I'll paste it over here. Okay, so basically again do a command S if you want to. So here you can see we are using Firebase auth. That's the product which we want from Firebase iOS SDK. So that's what we are telling over here. If you are using some other Firebase product, you will have to change it over here, but currently we are only interested in Firebase auth, so this is fine. Okay, so I'll just close this for now. This is done. Then I'll just click on next over here again. I'll come back to this code later on. We will be using this code firebase.configure. This is required. Okay, this code you can ignore. This is Swift UI code which we is not applicable to Godot game engine, and just click on continue to console. Once that is done, here you will have to go to build. Here you will have to go to authentication and click on get started. Here you will have to click on email and password. If you want me to make videos about all these other tools as well, let me know. I can't make for Game Center because I don't have the paid Apple developer account, but if you're interested in some other provider, do let me know in the comments. I'll just click on enable. I'll click on save. Okay, once this is done, if you go to the users tab, there are no users. Alright, next we'll have to again go back to our Xcode project library, and here just open my library, and here we will have to write all the code which is necessary. Again, I'll just open my practice project which has all the code. I'll copy it and then I'll explain it to you. So I'll just copy everything and I'll paste it over here. Over here. So here you can see, firstly we are importing UI kit, which has lot of the Swift functionality. Then we are also importing Swift Godot. We import two Firebase dependency, Firebase core as well as Firebase auth. This is boilerplate code which you have to write every time we create a Swift plugin using Swift Godot. Here only thing is this should be your own library name. Then I have created a class which I have annotated with @Godot, and here we are extending from ref counted. Now I think this is related to memory management, even I'm not really sure about it. Then I have created one signal. With the help of this signal, we will be able to send some data from our iOS plugin side to Godot side. Now instead of the return type is string, but you can change it to whatever you feel like. I have kept it as string so that I can concatenate many things. I don't know how to send complex data type to Godot side, that's why I've kept things simple. Then here I have created one method. So once you mark any method with @callable, that means you can call this method from Godot side. And firstly here you can see this was the code which Firebase was telling us to add, right? So here I have added. So here we are configuring our Firebase, and this method will be called inside our onReady, so that Firebase is initialized soon. And here I am checking whether the user is already authenticated or not. If yes, then I am sending back the user email as well as user ID. There are a lot of other fields as well. If you want, you can check the documentation. Apart from email and UID, what all other fields are there. But yeah, for now I'm just keeping them simple, and I'm sending the user email as well as the user ID. Okay, in case if the user has not signed in, this will be null. So yeah, you will have to take care for that. I am showing you this so that you don't ask the user to sign in again and again whenever he or she opens your app. Sign in should be only one time. Then here it is for sign up. So here it takes an email as well as password. Now this entire code I have got it from the documentation as well as this code as well. So if you want, you can just refer this documentation. I don't want to go into it, but yeah, if you are curious, you can use that. So here you can see I'm just using auth create user, pass the email, pass the password. You get an auth result as well as an error. If the error is not equal to nil, then I'm sending this error back to Godot side. I'm using the same signal for error as well, but if you want, you can create a different signal, and I'm just using return. If there is no error, then I'm getting the user email as well as the user ID and sending it back to Godot side. Similarly for sign in as well, auth.sign in with email as well as with password, and here we get the auth result as well as the error. And if error is not equal to nil, then I'm just sending this error back to Godot side. And if the error is equal to nil, then we get the email as well as the UID and send it back to Godot side. And here I have created another sign out function as well. For sign out, we just have to do Firebase auth.signout. Okay, so pretty simple till here. So we have written all the code. The next step is you just have to open your you will have to cd to your library. So I will just cd to my library. I will just come to my Godot folder. Here is our library. I will just cd to that. I will clear everything out. Once we are into our library, we have to run few commands again. I'll just go back to my cheat sheet. Here firstly you will have to do this. Again, I'm not really expert on this, so I'll just run this, and then we have to run this particular command. Now be careful. I'm not deploying my app to Apple App Store, so I'm just generating the debug IPA or debug framework. If you are planning on deploying it to Apple App Store, you should, apart from debug, you should also generate release. But yeah, just for now I'm not interested in release, so I'll just generate debug and I'll just run this. Now this will take little bit of time to run, so let it do its thing. We'll come back to our Godot project. Here I'll create a 2D scene, and here I will just save it for now. Okay, and I'll also run this so that our entry point is selected. Okay, then I will just what I will do is I'll just create 3 buttons. So button 1. Okay, I'll just expand this a little. Okay, I will just duplicate this. Okay, and here I will name the first button as sign up, second button as sign in, and last button as sign out. I'll just save all this. I will also create one label as well. Here is our label, and I will just expand this as well. Here is our label. Now I will just select all 4 of this and increase the font size as well. Theme overrides, font size, I'll just change it to 40. Okay, so label will display all the data which we are sending from Godot iOS side to from native iOS side to Godot side. Next I will attach one script to this, and I will just add the on press button, on press listener for all of our buttons to this. So this is our second button, and this is our third button as well. So I have added all of this. Now again I will just open my practice project because I don't remember all the code, and then I'll explain it to you. So firstly, okay, we also need to get hold of our label as well. So I'll just drag and drop. Okay, so something like this. Then we have to initialize our library first, right? So for that I will take first one variable called my library. Okay, and inside onReady we will have to initialize it. So here just copy this and I'll paste it over here. So here you can see we are like initializing our my library. Now this should be your own library name as well as over here. So here we are initializing our my library. Here we are connecting an output signal as well. So this method gets called whenever we send data from native iOS side to Godot side, and here you can see I'm calling the init Firebase method so that this initialize Firebase as soon as this ready is called. Okay, so we'll have to define this method as well. So here you can see I will just define this particular method and I will just paste it over here. And here you can see whenever I get data I'm just updating our text of our label. Now I will just have, what I'll have to do is I'll just have to write the click listener as well. So here you can see now I'm hard coding the email and password. Change it to whatever you feel like. You can take a text input or an edit text, whatever you call it in Godot, and just use that over here as well as over here. Okay, so this all stuff is done. So here we are calling sign up, here we are calling sign in, and here we are calling sign out as well. So I think that should be it. Okay, now there are a few other changes as well, important things. So So here is my Godot project as well, right? So inside our Godot project, I'll just close this. We have to create a folder called bin. Now if you want, you can create it from the Godot game engine as well. I am just more comfortable creating from VS Code. I'll create a folder called bin, and inside that we'll have to create a file with our library name. So my library name is just my library, and append it a GD extension as the extension. So if you see this GD extension is not I cannot open it from Godot game engine. Maybe there is some workaround, that's why I don't create it from Godot game engine. I created it from VS Code, and inside this .gd extension you just have to copy this bit of code. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. Once this is done, if you see our terminal, okay, this is still building. Okay, I'll just wait for this to finish and then I'll come back once this is done. Okay, so this has finished building it for me. Now one thing which I want to point out is like I told to you, I was generating it for debug, that's why I'm using debug over here as well. But if you have generated it for release, you will have to use, instead of debug, you will have to use release over here as well as over here. Once that is done, what we can do is we can just go back to our Godot folder, and over here I will just create one empty folder called iOS where we will export the project from Godot. Next you will have to go to your library. Here you inside bin iOS, here you will see these two framework files. I'll just copy this. I'll go back to my Godot project, so this one, go to bin and paste it over here. Once this is done, you just have to again open your Godot game engine, go to project, export, and here just click on export project. Here you will have to go to iOS folder, and here you will have to click on save. Now the export will take a little bit of time, so be patient. One more thing which I want to tell you is, once we try to run our project, make sure you run it on a real device. Don't try to run it on a simulator, otherwise you will it won't run on the simulator because of the Vulkan and all that stuff which I don't really understand. But yeah, all I'm saying is just run on a real device. Alright, so as you can see, my project export was successful. I'll just go back to the iOS folder which I have. I'll just go over here, go to Godot, go to iOS, and here all the files have been exported. I will just double click on this .xcode proj file, and it will open it on VS Code. And now I will just run it on my real device. So again, this will take little bit of time, so I'll just edit this out. Alright, I'm trying to run my application, but it is not running. Let me try it running one more time. I've faced this issue couple of times. One more thing before I run my application, I'll just stop running the application. One important thing which I forgot was, if you remember, we have downloaded this Google services info.plist file. Just say okay. So we need to drag and drop this inside our iOS project as well, which we exported it from Godot. So just drag and drop it inside this my Godot project, or whatever name is your project name. So yeah, make sure you don't forget this, otherwise your things will not work for you. Now you can try running it. Also, one more thing, whenever you try to export it from Godot, this file will disappear, so you will have to remember to drag and drop this file every single time you export it from Godot. I didn't find any other way. Like we can't directly add this file inside a Godot game engine. Maybe there is a way which I'm not aware about, but at least in the Firebase documentation they refer that just drag and drop this file inside your Godot folder. Now if I go over here, you can see I don't have any users, so I'm just refreshing it, no users. I'll just go back to my iPad and I'll click on sign up. Now as you remember, I have hard coded the email and password, so I'll just click on sign up, and here you can see I was able to sign up. And if I just refresh now, okay, I should have used that other refresh, but anyways, here you can see my email user has been created. Now if I want, I can log in as well. I will just click on sign in, and here you can see logged in. This is the email ID and this is the password. Now if I just do completely close the app, okay, and I'll just reopen it, I should be able to see the user credentials, because as soon as the app is relaunched, inside the onReady function we are checking for whether the user is signed in or not, right? So that's why I'm seeing this in the label. Now if I just click on sign out, I am logged out, and if I just close the app and reopen it again, here you can see I'm not able to see anything. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.